And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
How's it going, fellas? Raf in the building, and welcome to another episode. This is the episode number 22 of the Combat Club with Capitán Rafucho and Zenith. And not only we are live at the channels Capitán Rafucho and Zenith, but also we are live at the Big Blue Crew Sports Network YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe to the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. Don't be a ninja. It costs you free. Just hit the like button. Just click the button of subscribe and you got everything. Mixed martial arts, boxing, football, wrestling, basketball, baseball, all kinds of sports, including soccer. And not only they provide everything about for the play-by-plays in English, but also in Spanish. Because at this network, which is the Big Blue Crew Sports Networks, is right there to break boundaries. Yes? And which is the episode number 22 of the Combat Club. I just wanted to say thank you very much for the positivity. And of course, we just wanted to talk about for like very short about for like the UFC Paris preview and of course the UFC 306 between Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. And I know it's gonna be really complicated, but I just wanted to tell you, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and don't be a ninja watching. It costs you free. It didn't cost $1. It didn't cost $2. It didn't cost $5. It only costs you free. Just like that. Just like that. And right now, this weekend is going to be huge, important, not only for the UFC, because they're getting to head to Paris, which is the city of love, city of modern art, but also city of the modern food. But also, it was like the home of the Summer Olympics during July and August 2024, which is really amazing. But right now, let's get it down from the business about for the UFC 306, shall we? Because this one is going to be blow up the mind. Because during about for that night of the fights, I mean, it became so much important that no one see that coming. No one seen that coming. Hey, how's it going? The Man Cave? Yes, sir. Let's go, fellas. Like and subscribe and share all social media platforms. Hey, how's it going? Big Bad, one of the members of the Big Blue Crew Sports Network, along with my brother Lou, because he provides everything about for the Giants. And, of course, tomorrow is going to be very huge for the New York Giants because they have the classic rivalry between New York Giants versus Dallas Cowboys. And man, I can never forget about for this game between the two classical rivals from the East Coast of the United States, between Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants, between Dak Prescott versus Daniel Jones. Or maybe it's going to be Taro Taylor or Tommy DeVito, Tony Dimes. Well, they should know about this. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the review between the UFC 306 for the first time at the Sphere in Las Vegas, celebrating La Noche UFC. So right now, let's see where they got it. Yep. So right now, they just see about for the champion versus challenger between Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko and Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. Now, for those guys who didn't know about this, because this one is so great. I mean, between for the Sphere, the ambient was so very good, but there's also they have something very important to something about for like to remember about this. But between for those fights, I mean, the card wasn't very strong enough. The card was very strong, but that was really awesome to see how many importance of a fight because they got running it off or chatting it out, but it just seemed like they have to take down for any other minute. Because during for the fight, let's just take it a lot for this look at this. Because during for the fight between Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili, I mean, they had legs in my quick takedown or a terrible combo to fight Merab. I mean, Sean O'Malley couldn't get away with against Aljamain because Aljo can punch. Because Murat was able to use the striking to get inside to take O'Malley down over and over and over and over and over again. Because he just saw like a lot of film studies. And it will come to play on the same way for the rematch. If O'Malley comes out with a blazing, he will take it down. Because he's like very shy, but he will take it down. But not that Aljo can punch. Because if you remember about Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley, but they became like the underdog, is that he used very differently intros. He shoots low doubles for way out, where Murat was blazing off the more upright, and also like the upper hand to get on Sean face, and one to another with a grab with a high single leg. But with Murat was also throwing Nakai-esque air punches at the distance. And no, we're not talking about like air punches. No, because we just seemed like the dude got a juke of masking entries and missing with Sean's sense of distance. I mean, he was like reacting to jabs that is being like really pumped outside for the kinky rage. Because, I mean, it's going to be a lot of interesting, but it seems that, is that what the people they're just waiting for? I mean, that looks very suspicious, but it seems that everything was complicated. Even though that the co-main event and the main event are, they just ruin up the hype. They ruin up the hype. I mean, looking for the fans of Sean O'Malley. I mean, they're like completely delusional, but there was no way. What the hell? They were really active. I mean, he was like really bad enough. All those takedowns, it really how appreciative of how dominant Khabib was. Yeah, Khabib was there on their prime, But imagine this, because that was able to feel like punches through like a very neptical, but it seems that it's because of the technical what it just wanted to do, but they have a lot of potential. I mean, it's something had to go for the preliminaries, but it seems that if you're telling with yourself the bigger of this one, you're part of something bigger at yourself. I mean, they just wanted to pull him off for like an upset, pull him off. But it seems that, boy, that wasn't like really strong enough for this one. But yeah, I just realized that there was something that couldn't take it anymore. Couldn't take it. And this one is so realistic. I mean, sheesh. And I know the ambient for this fear, it became so much interesting, but they have brought a lot of great history of Mexico. Yep, a lot of Mexico, but it seems that, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not gonna be like really disappointed at all. But it seems that very good enough to see about that. Really good. But after what you saw for like all of those fights in the main card, I mean, they just wanted to fit set. They just wanted to fit set that fight, and there's nothing. Nearly 3 rounds, but they'll say it became something important because there's one judge. There's one judge about this. One judge. I'd rather still look at a difference. Still look at a difference, because is that the job as a challenger to come in and defensively take up the belt of the champ? So he just failed and realized to reclaim the belt, but they just wanted to fight it down. We'll move it down for the white class right now. It seems that everything is very, very impossible about this. But we just see like a lot of disappointment. A lot of disappointment that no one see. I mean, they just became very froze. I mean, during for the fight between Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko, I gave it like a lot of props to Valentina Shevchenko to take her down, Alexa Grasso, because after the round number 1 takedown, she already looked like she didn't want to go there at first, because that was like a really rough performance. But she was like really froze as Elsa, because isn't it kind of like the classic one? Because literally getting like taken all down in a fight here and there once, whether she won or drew, because they have from the same gym. I mean, there's no cage cutting, no wrestling, no game plans. I mean, they have every single fight about for boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, that's really surprised that Alessa made like zero improvements well for the past year and half since the first fight. I mean, most of the success, but they came capitalizing on Valentina she made. And when she didn't make it out, she got dominated. I mean, they completely like drove for the opponents with the game plan. I mean, kudos for Mirab and Valentina. I mean, there's no like shadow boxing before the fight, but people say that they're looking at fooling themselves. But she was like a neutralized in every fight with Chef. She was very capitalized. I mean, before the submission, it's just like completely everything. There's like a simple error on that fight between Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shmenko. I mean, they just stick it to the scheme playing, but it became like a scapegoat. She doesn't have like the killer mentality or the iron mindset to change a fight on the or our court because she was like completely winning on their feet during the fight. But don't be like really expected. Don't be really expected because I know the age she was coming out to the suit because she was like very mesmerized because that tends for the come with opponents to the superior game that you didn't came to prepare of. You didn't came it because the days of playing for the back is mostly over because don't accept like position immediately start working towards improving like position, escaping. I mean, even if you're effective on the ground, I mean, judges are not that very small brains, but it's also bad optics to be on the bottom. I mean, largely the skill level, it's so high educated like it these days and not like high percentage strategy anymore. I mean, that could be happen. That could be happen a lot of fighters that nobody see that coming. Yep. I mean, but right now it seems that she looks like a very kickboxing, but she's still on the feet. She's still on the feet. I mean, that could be anything because that was very huge, like very overrated. Very huge. But it again at fight and get it. I mean, same because they have the so-called stars and they just get really exposed at all. I mean, between for the fight between Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shmenko, and of course they just got Sean O'Malley versus Murat Dipalshi. I mean, they just know about because some of those fighters they wanted to compete something, but when it comes to champion versus challenger, they know everything about for the film study. They just watch the tape over and over and over to see what's the weakest point. But then, between for all of the hype, it became so much realistic that it just got really exposed at all. Just completely exposed. Yep. That's what I mentioned about that. Hey, how's it going, Daniel Barry? Salute to you, Daniel Barry, of one of the supporters of my channel, Capitán Rafucho, also for Zenith and the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. So salute to you. Salute to you, to everybody. So after what you see right now, it seems that it became like a scapegoat. A scapegoat that it seems that they're very risky. Very risky. That seems that it's kind of like a very surprising. I like it at all. Very, very surprising. But if it comes to like at all to see to everything that we want to call everything. Yep. We see it for everything. Now, to the next fight, I just wanted to really comment about this because this is like the podcast that we talking about everything from wrestling to mixed martial arts to boxing. I mean, all the combat sports that we just wanted to give it like a little thoughts. And yes, so right now I just wanted to tell you between for like the another point between for UFC Paris because this is like the first time since September 2023 and they just came back to all of the measures between for the 2024. Now, because I just wanted to share like the image right now, but it seems that it really take it a lot. Yeah, it really take it a lot, but it's something like, well, it didn't happen. So Right now, I just wanted to take like everything for a moment doing for the UFC Paris, and they just got like an amazing fight. Check this out, because they just had, ladies and gentlemen, Ion Kuntalaba versus Ian Erschling. Also, they just got Forrest Shiam versus Mafribola. Morgan Chiare versus Gabriel Miranda. Killing Juiced versus Brian Battle. Also, we just got William Gomez versus Joander Brito. Nosadame Bull versus Brendan Allen. And the last one, but not least, they got, once again, another Brazilian fighter at the main card. Renato Moicano versus Benoit Sandenis. Yep, Benoit Sandenis. And I'm not kidding about that, folks, because the main event is going to be Brazil versus France. And another one, which is the co-main event, is United States versus France. I know it's going to be so great, but right now it seems that we can go for the fights. And don't be surprised at all, because some of those fights on the main card and the preliminary card could be one of them, the fight of the night. Yep, they're going to be fight of the night. So first and foremost, Forrest Shiam versus Matt Fribola. Now, between Forrest Shiam is very tall, rangy striker, good technical abilities, and he's going to be decent and all-around fighter, but he has no finishing power and usually wins by decision. Matt Fribola is a relentless wrestler. He's very relentless. With heavy hands, comparing fighters in their face, Fribola has faced tough fighters like Dober and Benoit Sandenis. Fribola also has buried the kind of the fighter that wins either by knockout or he gets knocked out himself, but I don't think that Shiam has the ability to put him away. The way that I see it about for Sion grappling, he'll be negative for Fribola's wrestling ability, and I think that Fribola will have like the advantage on the feet despite for the shorter reach, but he's going to be heavy hands with a knockout power, which I really think is going to be like the victory on that fight. So I'll give like the prediction, Matt Fribola to win as a knockout. Next one, we got Morgan Charrier versus Gabriel Miranda. Now, it's going to make it a little very short. Morgan Charrier, which is from France, is technically like a good striker. Arguably, he lost close fight against Chebe Mariscal in his previous fight, but he's going to shoot really, it's going to be like a piece of bread. Very easy. But they're not going to put in everywhere on this money. But I got a more faith that Morgan Charrier, not only he just really dominated as grappling and striking, but also he has very good technique of his cardio. Definitely good. Definitely good. But I know he just lost for the close fight against Cheb Mariscal, but he should not be worried about it. He shouldn't. He really shouldn't at all. But he was technically everything. They're not going to believe he's not going to be really lost, but let's see what they got. So I just wanted to tell Morgan Charrier to win, but it's going to be, it's going to be a submission. You need to be careful about for the submissions and about for the jack combo. I mean, I just wanted to look at it. Next one we got Kevin Juiced versus Brian Battle. And I forgot about for the music right now. So let's just see what they got right now, because I just forgot about for the music. And then we just wanted to see about it. And there you go. All right. There you go. All right. So the next one is going to be Kevin Juiced versus Brian Battle. Now listen to this one. It's going to be like a very interesting, very huge candidate for the fight of the night. This is going to be very interesting. Kevin Juiced and Brian Battle are very technical strikers. Listen to this. And I mean, Kevin Juiced is a very good technical striker from Zenith kickboxing. And he has displayed very good striking skills on his fight against Song Kinan. Now, Brian Battle is a fighter that are like pretty much, they don't have a match bet for this fight. So I just see like a very talented, skilled, well-rounded fighter with some grappling and incredible striking skills. But I think it's gonna be like a really tricky matchup. Very tricky. Because probably they will be like very closer than the odds suggest if you wanted to bet on it. Because Battle has very potential advantage on his grappling. He could gain some advantage in the mix it off for this matchup. I mean, but it was really tempted to pick Joseph as the hometown fighter, but Brian Battle has seen a lot of flashes of potential. Yep, potential for this fight, and I just wanted to think about for like the higher ceiling that you set from the skills that he wants to display on this fight. And I would love to predict Brian Battle to win by a decision. Now in the next one, we got for the featherweight William Gomez versus Joanderson Beat. If you saw for the Dana White Contender Series, that you had to all. You had to all because they had the freshest, the youngest prospects we'll see for the next UFC generation. Now, Joanderson Brito, that is just defeat Diego Lopez in the Dana White Contender Series to secure the UFC contract, which is crazy because I had the fight, because he can easily headline to the fight night irrespective. Because being like a beast, like Diego Lopez, is a huge testament. Huge testament to Brito pedigree as a fighter. And right now he's a fighter that, all right, highly he's showing enough to be like a very tough, tenacious striker, with a decent ground striker. It's going to be like a lot of hell of the game. Because he knows exactly like the kind of fighter that will like to really to battle. Because he will define fight for the money, and the fight is gonna be like a well-rounded skill. Even it's gonna be really better. Now, William Gomez is very athletic, but with great strikes, good movement, great cardio, and a very striking arsenal. And I'm talking about for like the skills. Because there probably is going to be very decent. Because that fight you probably like take mostly on the feet. But I just take it about for like Brito just like a highest level in both striking and grappling. As Brito defeated the top of the opponents. And he show up with the more of the fights. Because even though it's going to be like very competitive, Brito should give enough for the victory here. So I would love to say that. Because between from Brito, I will take personally to win. Not only for submission, but I love to see like a very knockout, which is very intense because I know the mentality of the fighter is. Next one, we got Nasruddin Mo versus Brandon Allen. United States versus France. The co-main event. Now this is going to be very interesting. It is going to be no-brainer. No-brainer. Because they have two ranked fighters in the middleweight division with Nasruddin Mo is a versatile striker, solid grappling abilities. He's very moving up for the rankings with very impressive wins over fighters like Jared Cannonier, Dalit C, and Joaquin Buckley. Now, he did lose against Sean Strickland. But is that no shame that Strickland was a champion not too long ago? But Imavod is going to be like a good, very striker. That he has a very takedown defense that will be like the key of this matchup against Allen, which is you got to be careful because he's a submission specialist who has been proven about for the striking skills. Allen may be like at a nice winning streak, but we just saw against Chris Curtis. Allen's kryptonite is yep, defense, but I don't even thought it's going to improve with his striking, but he has no steel match. Taking him down for like improving for the striking, but he has no match for Eli strikers in the division like Imavol. If Allen can bring to this fight for the ground, he definitely has to get a down for the win this matchup. So I'd rather to say I'm going to pick out like the local one because I know that some of the fighters that became very local, he never disappointed at all. Never disappoint. And last but not least, we just got dun 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 the main event. And it's time for Brazil versus France. And no, we're not talking about for the soccer. We're talking about mixed martial arts. Grappling style. striking style, jab combination styles, submission styles, everything. Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint-Denis. And to be fair enough, Renato Moicano is one of those, well, is one of those fight nerds, along with John Silva, but we'll give it like it a lot later. And Cowboy out here. Yeah. But they say like all many styles of fights, this matchup is probably like a great example of it. I mean, Moicano has been getting past powerful striker like Jalen Turner and Drew DeBeer for his latest formidable grappling game, because he has a very IQ fighter who attempted exploiting the opponent's weakness, particularly on the ground. On the ground, ladies and gentlemen, because it seems like very adept to exploiting his opponent's weakness, particularly on the ground. But it won't be like one of those fighters you could just bring like to the ground to very dominate as a powerful striker and grappler. I just been seeing like at a first round domination of Dustin Poirier. I even thought it was really knocked down at the beginning of the second round. But I think that Benoit Saint-Denis is a very, very, very matchup for Moicano, for Renato. And he has some former grappling abilities will negate Moicano's strengths. And Moicano has been beaten up by strikers on the feet, but was on the last fights. And I think that will be hurting him by giving like the fight on the feet. And they're gonna be like a line of full powerful strikes on Moicano. So they have to be careful, because I've been seeing like a lot of fighters watching the film study, the tapes and everything. I just wanted to know about for the weakest positions. Pause. But I would take Benoit Saint-Denis going up for the knockout. I'm very sorry, but they're gonna be like in a knockout by Benoit Saint-Denis. Yep. Give it up to the locals. Because every time that I just see like the local fighters, whether it comes, because for example, UFC Brazil, they just mean like a very local fighters. And for the UFC going to Paris, all the French local fighters, they just wanted to make a great impact. Great impact. I will tell you. So after that, I will talk about for like the UFC Paris preview and the review, well, once again, for the UFC 306. Right now, it seems that for the month of October is going to be like a really fun to watch, because I know the month of September, well, because we know about the song for Green Day, which is Wake Me Up When September Ends, or the song of Earth, Wind and Fire, September, just like a lot of disco and song for everything. But we just wanted to talk about like a possible MMA fights that's going to be on the month of October, which just means the Oktoberfest, if you love the beer, or the month of cozy fall, but it comes like a pumpkin, coffee, everything, but not too much. But also October is the month of Halloween. If you got kids, you got to make sure that it's going to be like a really fun night with candy and everything, but I'm not talking about anything bad. So, between for October, number 5, October 5, 2024, it just got like really amazing, because they just got Alice Pereira de Poitin versus Khalil Rountree. Also, they just got Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. 2 fights, but it comes 2 title fights for the championship. Also, we just got a massive comeback of Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. And no, we're not talking about like the influencer is another fight, but also they just got Kayla Harrison versus Kathleen Vieira. Now I'm gonna tell you for this one, because those 4 fights between for the UFC 307, I mean, this is gonna be tremendously epic. Also, October 12, 2024, they got Brandon Royal versus Tatsuro Taira. Also, Clinton Carrington versus Lucas Rocha. For the Vegas 99, Pereira versus Hernandez. It's going to be October 19 of 2024, but it's going to be on the main card. And, ladies and gentlemen, for October 26, 2024, for the fans of the MMA and all for the UFC, they just got Lerone Murphy versus Stan Each, Magomed Ankalaevich versus Alexander Pavic, Robert Whittaker versus Kazmat Chimaev, and for the title fight, they got the smoothest Hawaiian fighter who never give up, the almighty blessed Max Holloway versus the Georgian, the Spanish fighter who never gives a W, who never gives IF, because I know that I keep it like a very friendly, because I know that I cannot use the F word, but but you know, it's Ayla Tupuria versus Max Holloway, which is mean to everything. And yes, it's gonna be like a howler of fights that no one can miss it at all. Also for the boxing fans, because I know that my brother Lou, he's a very huge fan of the boxing, and I just saw because he knows everything. So for October of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, they just got for the title fight Artur Bellator versus Dmitry Biyol for 12 rounds for the World Boxing Council, World Boxing Organization, and International Boxing Federation light heavyweight titles, and Biyol World Boxing Associated light heavyweight title. Yep. And also for October in Sydney, Australia, they just got Genevieve Albudo versus Andrei Miklovich for 12 rounds. For Liverpool, England, which is October 5, Nick Ball versus Ron Rios. Also for October 12 in Japan, Subandi Nochika versus Masamichi Chawushki for 12 rounds for the junior flyweight title. On Newark, New Jersey, Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Khalid Twawi for 12 rounds for the battleweights. Also in Orlando, Florida, October 19, Bakran Huchbaches versus Team Tusru. I know that I'm very complicated about telling for international names, but I give my best. Is Mac Rambasabay versus Team Tusu for 12 rounds for the junior middleweight title. Also in October 26th, in Manchester, England, they just got Jack Catterall versus Regis Prograis for 12 rounds of the junior welterweights. And for the title fight, Elias Scotney versus Mia Motu for 10 rounds for the women's junior featherweight titles. Yep. So this is going to be a very excited for the October for the boxing and MMA fights. But for the wrestling fans, we just wanted to tell it about it. I mean, that should be really interesting at all. I mean, not going to be everything. That could be really everything at all. But it seems that it's going to be a really blow up your mind. So let me check for this one now. All right. So there he goes. For those fans to know about this, because it's going to be so great. Because right now, there is one event of wrestling that never wants to forget about it. Never. But I want to miss it. And ladies and gentlemen, is the return of Bad Blood when it comes to October 5, 2024 on Atlanta, Georgia on the State Farm Arena. Now, this event, which is very important because if you grow up watching wrestling the 80s, the 90s, and 2000, well, Bad Blood, it's not about for the Taylor Swift song. No, it's not about that. Well, the WWE pay-per-view, which is the Bad Blood, it became the first time in 1997. Yep, 1997 under the name In Your House in St. Louis, Missouri, which they got, listen well, they got Nation of Domination, Dylan Brown, Kama Mustafa, and Rocky Maivia before The Rock. Also, they just got Bret Hart and British Bulldog versus Vader and the Patriot, and Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell match. Yep, Hell in a Cell match. Also, they just got, the second for the Black Blood which is in 2003, which is in Houston, Texas. But this originally is all for the Raw wrestlers. For the Raw, from like Monday Night Raw, like all for the describe right now, but yes. Also, this got Booker T versus Christian, La Resistance, Rene Dupree, and Sylvan Greener, Goldberg versus Chris Jericho, Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels, Triple H versus Kevin Nash. But also, I just wanted to repeat once again in 2004 in Columbus, Ohio, which is a Sunday Night Heat match between Batista versus Maven, Trish Stratus versus Victoria, Eugene versus Jonathan Coachman. If you know that, if you grew up for everything. Also, they just got Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. But also, for the first time in 20 years, they just wanted to bring it back. They just wanted to bring it back, the Bad Blood. It is not going to be like a Taylor Swift song. No, that's not. But it's going to be at the State Farm Arena at Atlanta, Georgia, between hella amazing fights. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, and Jacob Fatu. Yep. Also for the Women's Championship, they have Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, and, wait for it, there's going to be a Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rivalries. Because, there's going to be like a lot of rivalries because the Bad Blood, it seems like very intense when it comes to like the storylines. Because if you missed the WrestleMania 2024 when Cody Rhodes won against Roman Reigns, they're just like a lot of disruptor about for the Bloodline. Also, it's been like a lot of disruptor, the raptor for the Judgment Day when it comes to Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio love relationship. Yeah, love and hate relationship, but you know what that means right now. But but it seems that the storylines, it became so much important that if you wanted to miss it, there's nothing that can prove wrong. Nothing can prove a lot of wrong about this. But man, between for the storylines, it became so much important that no one can be expected. No one can be expected. And imagine if, well, The Rock could be there at Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm not giving like a very spoiler alert, but it seems that, well, it's gonna be like a really crazy at all, but it's, well, not that very kind. But if you wanted to see like very, very massive, wait until see that we get it right now. Wait until I see. But I know the different storylines, it became so much important. And I know that some of those fans that wanted to stick it around for like the storylines in between, for the actual storylines, that the people just wanted to grow up. But if you people growing up for the wrestling from the 90s, the 80s, that was like huge. That was like really a light. That was really a light. And I will never forget about for like the essence of the wrestling in between from the 90s, the 80s to 2000. That was very huge. And I love to see like all these wrestlers like The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon. I mean, they just personalize the great time of wrestling when we grow up as a kid. And we all know that wrestling is fake. I know about this. But as a matter of fact, I can't stop. It's not about for like the obsession right now, but it seems that everything in this life, because I know wrestling is fake. We know about that. We know. We guarantee. We know. But we will give like it a few generations to provide like the excellence of wrestling. Yep. It's gonna be very huge, but people just wanted to really expect. We want to see like very important, very great, very funny, entertaining, but they just wanted to talk about it. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight, which is the episode number 22 of the Combat Club, which this is like the podcast that every week we came down for breakdowns, news, reviews, and more. Because in this club, we're born to fight everywhere, anytime, anywhere. hit the like button, share the subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. So don't be a ninja and click the button for subscribe. It costs you free and everything. I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much for joining us on this episode number 22. Talking about for UFC Paris preview and a little bit of review of UFC 306 and the amounts of the agenda of the combat sports when it comes to October. Yep, October, ladies and gentlemen. So we cannot wait. We cannot wait for that. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on his way to 2K subscribers. And don't forget to subscribe to my brother, my co-host, Zenith. And don't forget to subscribe to the Big Blue Crew Sports Network, along with Big Pat, NYG22, Miss, Big Blue in the Bronx, Lou, Wells to New Jersey, everywhere. Because we provide the best of the best, including Coach Ed, with football, basketball, baseball, combat sports, everything. Not only in English, but also in Spanish. So I will tell for this one, have a good one. Have a great week. And of course, I will see you there next time. So God bless you. And I will see you there on the next episode. See you, kid. Thank you very much. I will see you there. Salute. We're out of here. I was wanted to talk about for like another thing. But but trust me about this, folks. October, it should be very important for the combat sports. I know it's gonna be like a long goodbye, but I know that my computer is very crazy at all, but but you know what? I'll try to like keep off of my mouth shut, but you know that I'm very quiet enough. It's just what it is, what it is. Oh, did I just hit the wrong button? But yep. All right. So there you goes. Whoops. Oh, there is no. And there you go. There you go. There you go. Have a good one. Yes, it is.